Everybody, welcome to the show today, guys. Biden is not letting down. Right now, they're saying he is going on a dangerous and destructive climate spending spree ahead of Trump's inauguration. So this guy is literally trying to just leave with the biggest bang of spending the taxpayer dollars. But Trump and Johnson are putting a big stop to it. Thank God. On top of that, we got some good news because this is good for our seniors. Representative Thomas Massie has introduced a bill to exempt senior citizens from taxes on Social Security retirement payments. So Trump is holding to his word, everybody. He has got a lot of people that are now building and doing all these bills that they're going to be putting before. And remember, the new Congress starts like January 2nd or 3rd. So they're going to be working to get these bills already pushed through. So when Trump takes office, signs his signature, bam, they are there. So this is great breaking news that we have so many new laws that are being written up and are going to be passed shortly in the new year. It holding to Trump's promises, but also too, there's going to be a hiring freeze for the government. No more hiring because Doge wants to get things in check. No tax on Social Security, no tax on tips, and this is the big one. Budget reconciliation. Everybody's been asking, so what about Biden's spending? What about him giving $1 billion to Africa and all this stuff? Can we get that money back? Yes, we can unallocate it with budget reconciliation, roll back all of Biden's last minute spendings that hasn't gone out of the treasury, and then fast track Doge to make things more efficient. So it's going to be awesome. We also have it, guys, where Ron Paul, a former representative, is now urging Congress and Doge to stop all foreign aid. So when I'm going to show you this chart in a moment, it is going to blow your mind. You're not going to believe it. But the U.S. gives more money to other countries than the top 9 countries combined. It is ridiculous how much money we send overseas when we have people here in the United States that need help. We also have it where the rhinos are really trying to come after Tulsi Gabbard. There has been a letter with over 100 signatures saying that they do not want her leading the charge for the National Intelligence Agency. But from our standpoint, that's a good thing because we know that she's going to clean house, hold them accountable, and reveal the truth to the American people. And we also got some breaking news over Dr. Anthony Fauci, him potentially going to jail. The report from Congress, and I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss this. Got a ton of great news for you today. But just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news. And if you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button. It really does help to grow the channel and the videos so much. And thank you to all of our members in the chat. Y'all are the best. TrueLife News chat. I love it. Y'all, the green in there, y'all are killing it. I love it. And thank you to everybody that has given a super chat donation. We are so grateful for your support. Remember, if you want to join the TrueLife News fam, the link is in the description. Guys, it's less than $1 a month. And we use that money and we give to charity online, live every single month. And this month is going to be our biggest yet. But we got a ton of breaking news to go over, guys. You're going to love what you're about to hear because Kash Patel is about to be our new FBI director. Check this out.
To put it up from Denver, well, I don't have it for my crack staff. It's been almost crack staff. National Police, what is the National Police Association, has endorsed one Kash Patel as head of the FBI. Folks, we got momentum. The tide has turned on Hexit. Look, it ain't over till it's over in these things. But I think Matt Boyle and Charlie Kirk and others, Jack Posobiec, backed off Joni Ernst. Joni, it's not a good look when you want a job, when you're putting the knife in somebody to get the job. So I think, hey, Pete's fine. He's not going to change the women in the military thing. You know that. Just throw in with the team and let's move on. If they take another one out, they're going to smell blood in the water. Now, 24 hours ago, 48 hours ago, they're all sitting there going, hey, we've called Hegseth from the herd, Alinsky 101. We got Kash teed up. He's going to be next after Hegseth. They're starting to lay the early groundwork, the predicate for Tulsi. She's a Russian asset. And they're coming for the big kahuna is Bobby Kennedy. That's what they want. That's how they're going to do it. And President Trump's going to end up with a bunch of, think about it for a second. When Gates went around that one day, what was leaked saying Matt said this. I'm not saying JD said this. I'm just saying what was being leaked by the Republican Senate offices. They were leaking that he got him to back off MSNBC. He got him to back off Fauci. He got him to back off like Jack Smith in this crowd. There was all, who knows if it's true or not. But remember, they're going to get concessions. The harder you make these things, they're going to get concessions and try to get additional new people in there that are more moderate, that are not going to go, are not going to go fix bayonets and go over the top and take on the apparatus of the administrative state and the deep state. You saw this yesterday, and I'll get to it in the second hour and again tonight. But the Doge guys went up there yesterday, and when you go up to Capitol Hill, you've got to go in with a show of force.
Yes.
If you're going to take on the administrative state and the deep state with all the lobbyists, all the money go through, you got to hit it with a boom. If you go up there in like a listening session, they're going to all of a sudden smell that, hey, I don't think these guys can bring it. And the first thing they started going to, Pocahontas, you had all these other people going on MSNBC last night saying it's not constitutional, they can't do it. Well, hey, I got a constitutional way to do it. Just Doge is going to work with OMB, and we're going to put it in the appropriations process. We'll take it apart brick by brick there. What do you got to say about that? Suck on that, right? Tell me what you got to say. There's plenty of ways to get it in here. My recommendation is, like in anything else, you need muzzle velocity. You got to put the fear in them. You got to put the fear in them. These are not your colleagues. You go up to Capitol Hill, you're in enemy territory.
Yes.
You're in enemy territory. You have to put the fear of God in them. Otherwise, there's not going to be any change. No change. Right now at the White House, what are they doing? You got the fear of God in them. You got they're sitting there, we're going to be persecuted. We're going to have to get lawyers. Last I said, the mental anguish of having this. Hey, we'll see how resilient you are. We turned out, our group, our team turned out to be pretty resilient. As President Trump said, could take a punch, get up, and give one.
Let's go.
How good are you guys at taking a punch? It doesn't look so good. You're still curled up in the fetal position from the beating you got on the good old-fashioned beating you got on 5 November in the year of our Lord 2024, of which you had the high ground. You had all the money, you had the apparatus, you had state power, you had the media, you had everything. President Trump and his forces had nothing but the truth. Nothing but a man that is extraordinary, with all his imperfections, is extraordinary and one of the great figures in the history of the greatest country on earth. That's what we had. And we had righteous indignation, right? Righteous indignation that fueled people and fired them up and continues to fire them up even as of today. A couple things, Birch Gold.
Guys, I'm telling you, like, where things are coming, and just like Steve Bannon said, you got to come in there and you got to smack them. You got to show them who's boss, because the deep state, the lobbyists, they're not going to go down lightly. Thank you so much, Ronald Zimmerman, for the super chat, and Shelly Belly for gifting 5 True Life News memberships. Let's go. Y'all show them some love in the chat. Because right now, everybody's trying to get Pete Hegseth out. Why? Because the Pentagon is corrupt. You don't fail 7 audits. You don't lose billions and billions of dollars without it not being able to be accounted for, without somebody being corrupt somewhere. Steve Myatt, welcome to the family. Let's go. Y'all show Steve some love. Listen to what Trump has to say with being interviewed about Pete.
It looks like Pete is doing well now. I mean, people were a little bit concerned. He's a young guy with a tremendous track record, actually. He went to Princeton and went to Harvard. He was a good student at both, but he loves the military, and I think people are starting to see it. So we'll be working on his nomination along with a lot of others.
Since you bring him up, do you still have confidence in Pete Hegseth?
Yes, I do. I really do. He's a very smart guy. I've known him through Fox, but I've known him for a long time. And he's basically a military guy. I mean, every time I talk to him, all he wants to talk about is the military. He's a military.
Only Pete, guys. We got to go with Pete. Because I'm telling you this, when I show you this chart, I talked about it earlier today's show, but look at this. This person posted 8 reasons why we need term limits. Joe Biden, Senate, 37 years. Adam Schiff, 23 years. Dianne Feinstein, 32. Pelosi, 37. McCarthy, 24. Jerry Nadler, 32. Jimmy Clyburn, 21. Maxine Waters, 33. All these people, these are corrupt politicians that somehow got more money than they can know what to do with it. And it's all because of the career politicians. That's why we need term limits. Shelly Belly, welcome to the True Life News fam. Let's go. Y'all show Shelly Belly some love in the chat, everybody, because a lot of things are being uncovered. Biden's trying to spend money. Trump and Johnson are stopping them. But what you're about to see next is the truth being uncovered by Congress. Thank God for what you're about to see. Check it out.
Ability to speak. And because you have the ability to speak, people like the New York Times and the Washington Post, their business model of lying for profit is under attack. And you know what broke them most of all? COVID. Forcing people to stick a needle into their arm, put a freaking dumbass face diaper on their face. Look, it's going to protect you against COVID. Really? That's amazing. Every single freaking person who put a mask on got COVID. It's the most ineffective. Imagine that. And morons fell for it. COVID broke the media monopoly because no one believed him anymore. Imagine being steward at the New York Times, right? The paper's like, investigative data indicates that masks are an extremely effective tool, Dr. Fauci said. And every freaking person in your household wearing a mask gets sick. You're like, wait, these people are kind of full of shit. Why do I bring this up? The COVID fiasco broke the media. You want to find out how we're in charge? This is how. Here's our good friend Eric Daughtry. There's a new COVID committee report that released its final report after a 2-year investigation. Did you hear about the findings? That our NIH, your taxpayer-funded National Institutes of Health, funded gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab. How does that make you feel, kids? You're busting your ass living while the government steals your money. And who are they giving it to? The Wuhan lab to infect the world with a deadly virus. Wow, is it that special? They note the Constitution can't be suspended in times of crisis. We needed a report on that? I was always under the impression that the Constitution wasn't a suggestion. What do I know? I mean, I'm not an attorney or anything. COVID emerging from a lab leak is, quote, not a conspiracy theory. Thanks. We said that 5 years ago. Peter Daszak should never again receive taxpayer funds. Public health officials have lost the trust of the people. Trump's Operation Warp Speed was a success. The COVID response was rampant with fraud, waste, and abuse.
100%.
The prescription cannot be worse than the disease. Lockdowns had horrific consequences.
I'm sorry to interrupt everybody, but I want y'all to know that $200 billion from the COVID money that was sent out is not accounted for. We have no idea where we lost $200 billion of the taxpayer funded money because the government doesn't know how to manage money.
Folks, you remember this from Fauci on the vax? You were lied to. You were lied to over and over and over by the New York Times. And by the way, one of the things the New York Times guy, this clown Stewart, he's like, oh man, you guys never criticized Trump. I'm a MAGA supporter, dumbass. It's an opinion show. And by the way, do you even listen to the show, you stupid? We disagree with Trump on a lot of things. Do you even listen to? How do we feel about tariffs, guys? Didn't you hear me mention it yesterday? Don't like them. We just talked about it yesterday. I said if they escalate them to de-escalate them, I could be talked into it. We don't agree on abortion. We actually had a disagreement on the show about it. I don't like warp speed. I don't like the end result of it. I like the fact that he pushed these entities to get something done. However, the something that resulted, I don't agree with. What are you talking about? We're not little lemming jerkwads like you. That's how you guys fell for this. Here's your expert, Dr. Fauci. Is this a Maze Moore clip? Hat tip the great Maze Moore. Thank you for the happy birthday, Maze. We appreciate it. Here's Fauci taking 27 different opinions on the vax in just a matter of a couple years. Check this out.
You might have virus in your nasopharynx, and even though you really feel well, you could inadvertently pass it on to someone else. It is very unlikely that a vaccinated person, even if there's a breakthrough infection, would transmit it to someone else.
If you're vaccinated, you really don't need to worry about getting it in a way that's serious or transmitting it.
You nailed it, Chris. That's correct.
Okay.
That's absolutely correct. You're absolutely right. You said it correctly. The risk is extremely low of getting infected, of getting sick, or of transmitting it to anybody else.
It was all a
You
lie.
should care, because if you get infected and you're not vaccinated, there is a chance, maybe a likelihood, that you will be part of the dynamics of the continuation of the chain of transmission. Namely, you will inadvertently or innocently transmit it to someone else, who will then transmit it to someone else. And I don't think anyone would intentionally want to be part of the transmission chain. You want to be a dead end to the virus. So when the virus gets to you, you stop it. You don't allow it to use
Wow.
you as the stepping stone to the next
What
person.
a lie.
Vaccinated people are clearly capable of transmitting the infection to an uninfected person.
A steward from the New York Times, like, which one of those takes do you actually believe? I thought he was an expert. He's an expert, right? He's like a doctor and all. You know, I'm not a doctor. And guys, I figured it out pretty quick. You know what happened? A lot of people got the vaccine, wound up getting COVID. I was like, wait, that dude just told me he got the vaccine. Now he's sick. But you're not a doctor. I'm not a freaking imbecile.
Yeah.
Put on the mask. Put on. Everybody who wore that got sick. Oh, here's the New York Times. Dana G. Smith. Now you see why no one watches the New York Times content or reads their content anymore? It's time to wear a mask again, health experts say. Listen to this. There is strong evidence that masks help to reduce the transmission of several respiratory viruses. You guys are good. You guys are good at the New York Times. Thanks for reaching out, Stu. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Don't email us ever again. Don't waste your time. The oxygen you sucked out of the universe while typing that thing is a total waste, because we're going to humiliate you because we're in charge now. I know you don't like it, but I don't give it. There's my audience. We're the boss. We're the news, not you. That's got to hurt, right? 100 years of lying to America, billions of dollars of wasted money down the drain, lying to people, and me and Evita sitting here in the back of a...
Guys, I'm telling you, you want to talk about billions of dollars wasted? This actually came out today. Elon Musk posted this, and just to show you where the United States sits at when it comes to giving money overseas. Thank you so much, Andy, for the super chats. He said, remember I sent you that a few days ago? Yes. And he said, Kamala is a great example. She just lost almost $2 billion. Remember, I'm telling you, the government sucks at money management. Look at this. So we're at the top. And a lot of people say, well, this is great. We're, helping out the world. Yeah, I'm all for helping out the world. But when you're $36 trillion in debt, you got seniors who are getting less than $1,000 a month trying to live on that. You got kids that don't have enough food to eat. You have homeless veterans. Take care of your own home before you give to somebody else. Right here, we send more money overseas than the top 9 other countries out of the top 10 combined. This is where there's something going on, guys. And Doge, Elon Musk said, we're going to investigate this. Ron Paul said, we need to stop this because we got too much other stuff to deal with than to keep giving our money overseas. And what I love too, they ain't slowing down, guys. I love it. Listen to this. And y'all show Andy some love in the chat, everybody. Check this out. Because Trump is vowing a major government overhaul. Check this out.
For Policy and Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller joins me now. Stephen Miller, should grown men be taking bubble baths?
Grown men should not be taking bubble baths, and they certainly should not be doing their work from home in a bubble bath. It's just so, it's so emblematic of the contempt that so many people in the swamp have for the people who pay their salaries. When Donald Trump is inaugurated on January 20th and that new golden age of America begins, he's going to tell the federal workers of this country who are paid for by your viewers to get back into the office and do their jobs or find another line of work. We are not paying billions and billions of dollars for people to sit at home all day as federal workers, streaming their favorite shows on Netflix, lounging around in bubble baths, and doing God knows what else, but definitely not working for the American people.
They're having orgies, Miller. They're having them at VA hospitals on the clock. These are taxpayer-funded orgies.
One of the things they are doing, other than working, and I'm sure there's a long list of things they are doing that will be very alarming, and I'm sure we'll find out a lot more about that once we're in there. But when you talk about the waste that's in this government, what do you think on a given day the hundreds of thousands of federal workers who haven't shown up in an office building in 4 years?
Golly.
What do you think their average day looks like? How many actual work minutes are in that day, Jesse? In other words, for worker number 17,768 of the Department of Commerce, who hasn't been inside an office in 4 years, what do you think his Monday morning at 9 a.m. looks like? My guess is there's not a lot of work happening, Jesse. That's just my wild guess.
1% of the federal bureaucracy is going in Monday through Friday. 1%. There's empty buildings.
Yes.
They're just hollowed out.
It arguably is one of the biggest scandals.
I could live in the Commerce building, and no one would find me for a year.
No, it would be like your Versailles. It would be your own palace, your own kingdom unto yourself.
Can y'all believe that?
These federal buildings, by the way, if you sublet them, the value to the taxpayers would be hundreds of millions of dollars a year. This is some of the best property in the whole country. But what's really going to happen here is, again, you're either going to go back to work or you're not going to work, because we are not going to waste American taxpayer dollars.
Let's
go. And
go.
we're going to make sure these departments are performing the essential functions that the American people pay for. And they're not wasting their time, their money, their energy, or even worse, weaponizing government against the people that actually do go to work for a living. The social contract's going to be restored. If you're watching tonight and you're an honest, law-abiding citizen who takes care of yourself and your family, then this government is going to protect you. And we're going to make sure that the people in Washington, D.C. are protecting you. That's Donald Trump's commitment. That is what the 47th president is going to do.
Let's go.
And that's what DOJ also is all about, making sure that your tax dollars are serving you.
Well said. The return of the social contract. And Miller, again, wants to reiterate, he hasn't seen a bubble bath since he was a toddler. Scrub-a-dub-dub.
Guys, I'm telling you, there's so much change coming. Biden is literally trying to screw things up on his way out. We showed you this in the beginning, but I want to show you something else too. So the Biden administration is going on a dangerous and destructive climate spending spree ahead of the Trump inauguration. Remember, Johnson has already said we're not going to give Ukraine any more money. So Biden is trying to give them money through different sorts. He's trying to pull it from FEMA. He's trying to pull it from all these climate places to try to give more money to Ukraine. Look what Putin said. Russian President Putin said that the West continues escalating the situation in Ukraine, pushing the world toward a global conflict. Guys, this is where we're at. That Biden is literally trying to sabotage Trump as he's trying to go into office. If this isn't a clear, blatant, bro, impeach this guy, make him retire early, get out of office because nobody wants him there. He's literally making it worse and worse, not just for Trump, but for the American people. Sheila Brown, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Sheila some love in the chat, everybody. But I got this to show you because I'm telling you, it's not just about cutting the spending, it's draining the swamp. You drain the swamp, you cut the spending. So either way, we got to get career politicians out of there that have constantly, all they want to do is spend the taxpayer dollars. Check this out.
Now, making government more responsive to the taxpayers is a noble and necessary pursuit. And if anyone can make headway, it's billionaire innovator Elon Musk. I mean, the guys like Steve Jobs, Albert Einstein, and Henry Ford all rolled into one person. If he can get a massive rocket off the launch pad, certainly he can make real progress on Capitol Hill working with the Doge caucus. But to all the naysayers out there, well, we know what Kamala Harris's approach would have been. She would have borrowed and printed money until the world decided to stop lending to the United States altogether. But as Doge peels back the bureaucratic onion, Americans are going to learn a lot about what a joke Washington has become. Do you know that most federal workers have never returned to the office post-COVID? Now, back at the start of COVID, the Angle predicted that the same spoiled stay-at-home bureaucrats that we had been chronicling and discussing at the time for months and months, that they would not return voluntarily to the office because sending them home in the first place was a bad precedent. Many federal employees haven't returned to work full-time since the pandemic began. In-person work is expected for people like store clerks, janitors, airport personnel, but the average federal worker apparently believes staying home is their right. If they haven't been into the office for 2 years, how essential can they really be? Yeah, not essential at all. Now, that was 3 years ago. And where do things stand now?
How many federal employees are actually working in the office? By one estimate, it may be about 1% if you don't count the security personnel that are covering these buildings. That is absurd. One of the first things that I think you'll see is a demand from the new administration and from all of us in Congress that federal workers return to their desks and get back to the work that they're supposed to be doing. I think that is common sense.
Yes, yes, yes. It is a complete farce. None of you would get away with this. Why should the federal workers? They've got to come back to the office, or they just need to be fired. And every Republican on Capitol Hill, they should have been making a huge issue of this all along. How insulting this has been to the taxpayers. Now, many of these workers, of course, are not even at home. They're off to parts unknown, living their dream lives. Or, as this viral photo suggests, just chilling in a bubble bath.
That's messed up.
All right, every Republican on the Hill should be speaking out, demanding that this type of madness end. Now, if we can't agree on something like this, then how the heck are we going to agree on more complicated spending cuts, the type that DOJ wants to carry out? Now, even non-MAGA Iowa Senator Joni Ernst, who's certainly no staunch, right-wing bomb thrower, says the people still at home, the federal workforce, they got to get back. Legislation is going to be needed. It should already be written. 53 GOP senators will surely support this. Thus, it will pass unless it's filibustered by Democrats. Good. I dare Democrats to filibuster this type of legislation. And over the House, well, we know there's growing opposition to Musk's work on DOJ.
What's illegal? They haven't asked to meet with me, but the impoundment of funds that have been appropriated by the Congress is unconstitutional and illegal. There is no such Department of Government Efficiency. It's made up. So good luck to them.
So much for the hope that there would be this bipartisan outpouring of support for DOJ. There are a few people here and there, but Hakeem Jeffries, the House Minority Leader, responded to this whole the DOJ excitement, essentially feigning ignorance, then trying to claim that this idea was his all along.
It's unclear to me what exactly the objective is related to this so-called DOJ initiative. From our perspective, we want a federal government that is effective and efficient and equitable. And to the extent the other side of the aisle shares that objective, which is what is right for the American people, then we'll see if there's common ground that's possible.
Oh, okay. First of all, you heard the word equitable. Look out for that. And yeah, when all of us think of the word efficiency, we think about the House Democrats. Not. All right, the fact is, members of both parties, though, we got to be fair here on the Angle, they're culpable here, with majorities voting for budgets that over the years have funded things like, this list could go on and on, efforts to boost Egyptian tourism, because that's your priority, training for DHS employees to be their authentic and best selves. And I love this, just found this today, $4 million for an Alaska king crab enhancement project, $5 million for the Louisiana sugarcane research. That's courtesy of Bill Cassidy, thank you. We could be here again all day long doing this list after list after list. And by the way, speaking of lists, the same waste and efficiency analysis must be applied to the Pentagon as well.
Amen.
It's almost, I think, $900 billion budget. It also needs major trimming. After all, it can't pass an audit for a reason, because there is a huge amount of fat to be cut there.
Yes.
And the Defense Department is where Vivek and Elon are going to find the most resistance, I believe, among the president's own party. Now, let's face it, they've never met a Pentagon budget they didn't like. This must change. It isn't 1984. It's not 2004. This is 2024. And we're $35 trillion in debt. Our interest on that debt is now over $1 trillion annually, and that will eventually kill us financially. But in the end, when you look at the full scope of what needs to be dealt with, there's not a lot of point in talking about reform to the big entitlement programs, which is a big share of the budget, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, which is a flashpoint in American politics, the toughest thing of all, until we can get substantial agreement on the basics. And on those basic issues, some of them we've just discussed, we got to smoke people out here. We have to get them all on the record. If you're not with the president's agenda here, you're going to be primaried as a Republican. Just understand that now.
100%.
Then we can make real progress among both the Republicans and the Democrats. And that's the angle.
Guys, and that's the truth where they talked about, she just said about primarying our own Republicans in the sense of getting out the people that are rhinos and putting in true patriots. Elon Musk already said that, hey, if you go against, whoever goes against Trump's agenda, I will personally financially back the next person to take your seat because you're a rhino. You don't want an American first agenda. And I love it because there's a lot of people, guys, that are fighting big time. Look at this. Nearly 100 former national security officials alarmed at the prospect of Gabard leading intel community. They're trying to fight every single disruptor that's trying to come into the cabinet of Trump's White House. And the thing about it is, too, is that regardless, Trump's going to figure out a way to put in, because what they want is rhinos. They want people to keep things as it is, but America wants change. Thank you so much, Andy, for the super chat. Let's go. He said, why not investigate foreigners who live in foreign countries and receiving Social Security or welfare benefit payments? This is a real issue that no one is looking into. It's time to start asking for active passports. 100%. Y'all show Andy some love in the chat, because remember, guys, I told you, $100 billion a year in Medicare, Medicaid fraud. Where does that go? We don't know. But this is the part where they're trying to protect their own swamp. They're trying to protect all the career lobbyists, career politicians, the lobbyists, because they're afraid for the truth to be uncovered. But I got something special for y'all, guys, because it's getting Christmas time and we got to have a smile. So check this out.
It is, right?
And I think a lot of people are copying it, and everybody have fun with it.
Yeah. Which part?
Is this how you dance?
No.
Meanwhile, Biden left all his dance moves in Africa. He was back in D.C. to light the Christmas tree after his little safari. And let's just say he wasn't having a great hair day. Someone left his mousse on Air Force One. And while Trump was getting awards, Biden got named the worst president in modern history. This is a poll from the Daily Mail. Biden went from being on Mount Rushmore to being worse than Jimmy Carter. There's a lot that ails the big guy, but right now he's come down with a wicked case of senioritis. Trump's going to Notre Dame tomorrow. He's going to do the coin toss at the Army-Navy game next week, and he's meeting with prime ministers. If Biden is unhappy about being upstaged, he hasn't offered any hints, is what people close to Biden are saying. The consensus in D.C. is that Trump is already basically running things. Trump even called Biden last week to wish him a happy Thanksgiving. And the Democrats can't even get it together for a class photo. Watch.
Here we are.
Thumbs up's only for winners, Chuck. Plus, the party's still a little cranky over the pardon. Binder had a harder time than usual today.
He wrestled with this. He wrestled with this. He wrestled with these circumstances. He laid out how he wrestled with this decision. He said this weekend, he wrestled with this. This weekend, why the president wrestled with this over the weekend, he wrestled with it. He wrestled with it He wrestled with it and made this decision.
Hunter was getting a pardon the whole time. The only thing Biden wrestled with was how he was going to get it done once Kamala lost. They had a little deal that if Kamala won, she'd pardon Hunter so that Joe didn't have to. That would look more graceful and compassionate coming from her, and Biden wouldn't have had to go back on his word. But Trump won and made Biden pardon his son. And the Raging Cajun still not over this election.
The most tragic figure in American politics in my lifetime is President Biden. If he would have, in September of 2023, or August, said that he wasn't going to run, God, we would have won this election. And it wouldn't have been that close because we'd have had so many freaking talented people that were running. And he would be sitting here right now, getting ready to leave. On a high note, there would be naming commissions to figure out what we're going to name after him. I actually feel for Biden, and he knows that he up.
Democrats are moaning all over Washington that Biden set us back tremendously. Mark Halperin told us last night. At this point, Biden will probably get a bookmobile instead of an actual library. Donors have had it with Joe, and they're still calling Kamala and asking her, where'd the money go? Remember how Harris built a backdrop for the Call Her Daddy podcast that cost $100,000? Well, the Call Her Daddy girl says it was a ripoff, and Harris paid 6 figures for cardboard.
Golly.
Apparently, you can tell me, they spent, the Harris campaign spent like $100,000.
I did see that.
You know about this?
It's hilarious.
To build the studio.
Yeah, that's not true.
Not true, to make it look like it was the studio that you used in LA.
My studio that is gorgeous in Los Angeles doesn't even cost 6 figures. So I don't know how cardboard walls could cost 6 figures.
But do you think they did that? I mean, you saw it.
Absolutely not. With love to them. Oh my God, it was gorgeous, but like, it wasn't that nice. It wasn't like gorgeous marble. Like, no, that was not 6 figures.
And meanwhile, vendors are complaining that Kamala's campaign stiffed them. She still owes millions. You only get paid if you're Al Sharpton. $500,000 went to the National Action Network. Black churches are calling for the Reverend to be suspended from MSNBC.
Wow.
They say Sharpton put a moral stain on the integrity of the black church. And Jon Stewart says the media punked themselves. Listen.
We appear to be in a transitional period where we are not sure about whether the ground we are standing on is solid, although the news media seems convinced that we are the roadrunner and the coyote has run over the cliff, and we just looked down and realized there's nothing under our feet, and now we are plunging to our deaths because the news media is always very circumspect. We don't know what's going to happen when Donald Trump takes over. Unfortunately, we can't see into the future, but we have to be prepared for all outcomes. I don't know how helpful it is to get us our pants this much this early.
Democrats are kicking dirt at Biden, Kamala, the media, the Rev. Tim Walz is just hiding in his garage.
Hey, everybody. Tim here. It's happy December. Winter in Minnesota, so I am working in a garage that is somewhat heated. But I have a couple projects I was going to do. I have to show them to you. I got a 22-year-old little E-Series BMW, kind of a neat little car, but replacing the switches here. If you look on this on the middle console, this is the window switches you're looking at right there. And they just didn't work anymore. I didn't pull them up. They're kind of plug and play. You can buy that part for $30.
Oh, my goodness. Some things you just can't fix. So Democrats are looking outside their party. Eric Adams might be MAGA curious.
Would you ever consider rejoining the GOP?
The party that's the most important for me is the American Party.
Yes,
I'm a
MAGA.
part of the American Party. I love this country. This is the home of the free, the land of the brave.
And Doge is intriguing Fetterman.
I admire Mr. Musk. He's been involved in very important parts of American society. AI, SpaceX, and other kinds of things. Yes, he's on a different team, but that doesn't make me an enemy. I don't be automatically going to become a critic. It's like, hey, he has made, he's made our economy and our nation better, and our politics are different, and I don't agree with some of the things that he might say, but that doesn't make him, like I said, an enemy.
What you're seeing is certain Democrat politicians clear the way for Trump's team to revolutionize D.C. His team of creators are going to build a new golden age. The billionaires and entrepreneurs are going to take AI, crypto, trade, and energy into the future. His team of destroyers are going to clean house at the FBI, DOJ, the Pentagon, all across the administrative state. Not destroying for the sake of destroying, just extinguishing the rot. This crew is all about helping you. J.D. Vance isn't tinkering under the hood like Tampon Tim. He's in North Carolina checking in on hurricane victims.
Oh, I love it.
My simple message to the people of Appalachia is that we haven't forgotten you. We love you. We want you to have the best Christmas that you possibly can have, despite the circumstances. And I know that a lot of people in this neck of the woods feel left behind and forgotten. I just wanted to make them feel that their government leaders actually care about them, because we do. And certainly when this administration changes hands in the next 45 days, we're going to do everything that we can to help people rebuild, to get them back on their feet, to bring some commerce back to this area, but most importantly, to allow people to live in their homes and do what they need to do.
Biden's been handing out money to Africa, while Kamala's been drinking pina coladas in Hawaii. It's good to see JD remember the American people are still going through something with Hurricane Helene. And Trump says this is only the beginning.
I think you have seen more happen in the last 2 weeks than you've seen in the last 4 years, and we're not even there yet.
Boom.
Senior advisor for Trump, Alina Habba, joins me now. How you doing, Alina?
I'm great, Jesse. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So Trump already president. Biden's admitted kind of admission by omission that he's president. He doesn't seem to care that Donald Trump is running the country. What do you make of that?
I think he was asleep, wasn't he, in his last meeting, and his hair was all jostled. What do I make of that? Well, I mean, he's been asleep at the wheel, as you know, for the last 3.5 years. He put, the switcheroo with Kamala didn't work out so well, so now he's effectively happy as can be. I've never seen him smile so much, and he's saying, my hands are off, everybody. I'm still sitting here handing out pardons like they're Tic Tacs, and then we'll be done, and President Trump will be in, but at least I'll have protected my own. It looks like that's the lame duck kind of situation that we have going on, but
he's handing out pardons and Tic Tacs and cash. Pardons, Tic Tacs, and cash.
Yeah, and cash.
Right, and the rest of the bureaucracies having orgies, and they're in the bubble bath at work, as they say. You heard Binder say that Joe Biden, was he wrestling with this pardon? Do you believe there was a lot of wrestling with the idea of pardoning your son?
No, and I guarantee you, and you can quote me on this, I'll come on your show when it happens, he's going to pardon himself, he's going to pardon his family, Shifty Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, and anybody else who had their hands in the cookie jar.
Wow.
I do not doubt it. So all we're hearing is leaks of something we already knew. They lied to us during the election. The American people saw through it, and now here we are. Pardon after pardon will be handed out, and I assure you of that. Listen, KJP's admitting it. More are to come, but it's going to be rocking the nation when we see who it is that he pardons.
We're liking the cabinet. People are intrigued by it, the way they're rolling it out, and also the personalities. It looks like you have one group that are, let's just say they're well-to-do, and they've been very successful, and they're looking to take this country into the next almost millennium when you think about the kind of things they're getting their hands on. And then you have another crew, you can call them the Crusaders. They're going to go in there and they're going to knock some heads together, and they're going to bring out all of the scallywags and the evildoers to make sure we have a clean government again. Do you kind of see that, the way he's positioned his team?
It's absolutely what it is. If you look at the fact that we have billionaires who have created companies now helping to clean up a bad economy, clean up a government where we don't have efficient spending, and run the country like they run their businesses, much like Donald Trump. That's why he's a billionaire. And then you have the other side, the Cash Patels, the Pete Hegseths, the people that they're hitting hard because they know they're going to come in, fire you, clean up, and make you be accountable. And that's where the pardons come in. But I can tell you, Donald Trump and his entire cabinet and team are going to clean up America so fast, our heads will be spinning, and it'll be the best thing that's ever happened to our country. He has a lot of work to do, but he's already working, and that's the truth. And like you said, Joe's asleep at the wheel already.
So you've been down there in Mar-a-Lago. We're hearing that Elon Musk has been staying at a villa. It's been very hard to have him leave the property, although he did get sent to D.C. yesterday to make sure Doge is underway. What's the vibe down there right now?
It's amazing. It really is like a mini White House when you walk in, and the transition team and now the cabinet and his loyal supporters, they're all there working on how we're going to fix America. They're starting to, have their team figure out what they need to do when they go in. They're strategizing. There's meetings literally all day. And yes, Elon is there, and he's lovely. And with his son, little X, he's just the cutest. But, it's a good energy. The truth is, he's not waiting until January 20th. Nope. He said this before. I will do more between November 5th and January 20th than Joe Biden has done in 3.5 years. And if you look at the results that have happened in other countries, the tariff threatening, what happened with that, the people that have visited us, Zuckerberg at Mar-a-Lago sitting next to me the other evening, Trudeau. These people are coming because they realize the man is in charge. He is not asleep, and he's going to shake things up.
Yes.
What did Zuckerberg want? He went down there to have dinner?
He went down there. Who knows what he wanted?
Everyone's down there now. I'm going to have to get a house. That's it. Yeah. I can't.
Guys, I love it. And you know what? There's just some breaking news that actually came through. I want to pull this over and show you. Because our boy, Dan Bongino, guess who just just endorsed him? Representative Jim Jordan has just endorsed Dan Bongino as Trump's Secret Service director. Can you imagine that? That guy would kill at the job. Thank you so much, Mr. Tracy J. Norby, who said, Joel, how about Pelosi, who had the alcohol and liquor store right inside the Capitol buildings, and she catered and delivered to the offices too? I'm telling you, we've shown you on the channel. They literally did with our taxpayer dollars, guys. That's how, talk about a waste of money. Y'all show Mr. Norby some love in the chat, and Andy too as well. The closer and closer that we get to being actually Donald Trump being the president of the United States, to actually having him, make the executive actions to start changing things, that's whenever things are going to be done. Because I'm telling you this, even on CNN, our boy Scott Jennings just laid them out tonight with this. Check this out.
To me, it's not just the money, which, they'll have to fight with Congress about. It's the fact that most people believe the government is too big, that the bureaucracy stacked on the bureaucracy, stacked on the bureaucracy, crushes a lot of people, crushes a lot of small businesses, kind of puts a stranglehold on a lot of things going on in American life. It crushes innovation. Right now we have federal government unions negotiating with the Biden administration to let some of these federal employees work from home for years and years and years, stuff that started during the pandemic. Now they want it to continue for years and years and years, cutting deals with Biden on the way out the door. This drives people crazy. Like, why does the government get so big? Why are there so many people working there? And why do they get so many perks and such good salaries when I don't feel like, as a taxpayer, I'm getting that much out of it? So to me, yes, you're right about where the money is, but there's something to be said for just shrinking the size of government and jettisoning the stuff that nobody believes is necessary. Donald Trump was, and he has clearly stated from the minute he got into this race in 2015 that he would not cut Social Security and Medicare. It has never changed. That's number one. Number two, here's what I heard about the meeting today, that it went great, that they were very upbeat. There was a vibe of teamwork. Elon's kind of the visionary, but I'll tell you what I heard was that Vivek gets it. That was the phrase I heard today. He gets it.
Yes.
So you have two guys here. They're creative. And with Vivek, apparently came in armed with a lot of technical knowledge about how to achieve some of the things they're talking about.
Yes.
But they're not going to cut Social Security and Medicare for people. Is there efficiency to be saved in the bureaucracy? I'm certain that there is.
Guys, I'm telling you, Vivek went to Harvard. Like, they've got some smart guys who are helping to clean house, and he's going to make sure, they're not stupid. They're billionaires. You don't get to be a billionaire just by chance. the smallest 0.0000001% of the population. But I'm telling you, I'm so excited to see them starting to reduce government. Thank you so much, Michelle Faela, for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Michelle some love in the chat. Guys, y'all are so amazing. I'm just so grateful to have this community and come in here and serve y'all. I wanted to leave off with this. Barack Obama did we may show this tomorrow in tomorrow's video, but he went and did a speech today, and he basically said that the Republicans rigged the election and weaponized the justice system. Are you even kidding me? I'm not joking. You know what? Tomorrow, we're going to show this video. He literally said, basically, read between the lines, that the only reason Donald Trump won is because we rigged it. Well, what did Donald Trump say? We got to make it too big to rig. And it's just hilarious because with all their sanctuary cities, and remember, sanctuary cities are in New York, California, a lot of these big electoral college states. But you know what? God blessed. We won. President Trump's going to be president. And we're kicking the swamp out. We're draining the swamp. Just want to say thank you so much to everybody that's watching. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so I can serve you every day with the top news, guys. I got you. I want to make sure that you know it all. Thank you so much, David M. American, for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show David some love in the chat. If you don't mind, click the thumbs up like button, guys. It really does help to grow the channel. And guys, we've had an amazing show. I love all the great news that is coming out. I'm telling you what, January 20th is going to be an amazing day. We're going to live stream the inauguration. It is going to be phenomenal. Just want to say thank you to all of our members of the channel. If you want to be a member, the link is in the description to join, guys, and also to follow me on X. And I just want to say I'm so grateful and thankful for everybody that gives a super chat donation and supports the channel. In about 2 weeks, we're going to be doing a huge donation live, and it's going to be our biggest one yet. I'm so excited for this. Just want to give some shout outs to Ronald Zimmerman, Shelly Belly, Steve Myatt, Andy, Mr. Tracy J. Norby, Mr. Heenanite, Michelle Faela, David M. American. Y'all show them some love in the chat, guys. Look, most Fridays, a lot of people are out partying. I don't party. Don't go out drinking. Don't do all that stuff. I'm here to serve you, here to take care of my family and my friends, and make sure that the truth gets out there. Love you all. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.